You need to learn to love uncertainty. And I would go as far as to say you need to become addicted to it. You need to become addicted to the idea that this might not work out. Addicted to the idea that not everyone can do this. That there is a non 100% chance that this works, right? When you think about every little aspect of our lives, you begin to realize, wait a minute, there's nothing in this world that is certain. There's nothing in this world that is guaranteed other than we will die one day. Other than that, nothing is guaranteed. You waking up in the morning every single day, you waking up in the morning tomorrow is not guaranteed, right? Yet you go to sleep with full confidence that you wake up. There's the reason you need to learn to love uncertainty. Right there, the full confidence part. Because becoming addicted to uncertainty comes with a side effect of self-confidence, comes with a side effect of knowing I can do this, I can accomplish this. And that is such an important thing to have in your life, such an important mindset to be able to have and harness and use every single day. Because if you don't have self-confidence, how are you ever going to achieve anything in life, right? If you have dreams, if you have goals, if you have aspirations out there, right? You may have a dream. I'll use an example. You may have a dream of, making $1 million, whatever. I'll pick some very, very generic goal, right? Yes, you could go get it the normal way. Let's say you wanted to do it by 20, though. Let's say you want to do it by 20 or 25. No 25-year-old is making $1 million without some level of uncertainty, right? You can go get a very, very secure job where you have a 99.9% chance of keeping that job, working your way up, blah, 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 blah. Going through the rat race, whatever. I'm not here to say anything about that. But what I am here to say is if you want that goal and you want to achieve that goal quickly, you need to take on risk. You need to take on uncertainty, and you need to love that uncertainty. Because no one is going to achieve something great without taking a risk, without putting themselves in harm's way. So you want to make that $1 million by 20, by 25, you're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to take a risk. You're going to have to risk your own money, your own time, your own, I would go as far as say your own mental, your own psyche. Like, you're going to have to go out there and put in that effort. You're going to risk time with friends, time with family, time with, even God at times, right? You have to risk all of that because that success isn't guaranteed, right? You have to put other things on the line. And guess what? At the end of the day, there's still a chance you may fail. You're throwing everything on the line. There's still a chance you may fail, right? Another example, one as simple as the gym, one as simple as working out. If you set a goal of benching 225 pounds, once again, I'll pick a very, very, very generic, common goal that a lot of people have. You set a goal of benching 225, what are the chances you actually get there? What is that 100% certain? You say, oh, I go to the gym every day. It's not 100% certain, right? You could get injured, right? You could, and this is going to sound stupid, but you could just stop enjoying going. You could just not, you could lose focus on that goal, right? A lot of people don't like to talk about that, but losing focus on a goal that you once were so like passionate about is very real. In all honesty, it's very real. So you could lose passion with that goal. You could get injured. You could, who knows, you could start to transfer out of that, right? So that goal is not 100% guaranteed. But if you love that fact, if you love the fact that I don't know if I can do that, right? That's where you get power from. That's where you get like passion from. I have a really good buddy who just set out to run, he did run 100 miles. Shout out my homie Connor. He might even be watching this. He had never run more than, I don't think, 50 miles before. I think maybe his largest was 36 miles. I might be wrong on that. It might have been 50. Either way, that's half of his 100 miles goal, right? He set out to run that in one day, nonstop, whatever. Was there any certainty that he could do that? How could you ever be certain? How could you ever be like, yeah, 100% I could do that? Or you looking from the outside, 100% he could go do that, right? Because any logical person who looks at that says, he's only ever done 50. How is he going to go double that? He hasn't trained towards 60, towards 70, towards 80. He hasn't trained any of that. So what logical person is looking at it and saying, no, he can do that? Exactly. Because It's not logical. It's not logical to love uncertainty. It's not logical to love the fact that it might not work out. It's not logical to love the fact that there may be a 5% chance I succeed in this, right? What percent of people achieve their dreams? Their wildest dreams. Probably a very, very small percent. But you gotta love that, right? It comes back to self-confidence. It comes back to this just unwavering belief in yourself. Because the more you begin to love uncertainty, just like as your love for uncertainty goes up, your self-confidence goes up. Your belief in yourself, you're almost delusional. It's a delusional self-confidence, right? I'm sure there's very few people out there who would look in there and believe in Connor as much as he believed in himself when he set out to complete that challenge, right? I knew he could do it because I know him, but anybody else who looks at that, it's gonna be like, that's crazy. That guy's insane. Can he do it? But inside his head, which is what you need to get inside your head, there was not a shadow of doubt in his mind. Even though it was uncertain, there was not a shadow of doubt in his mind that he could complete it, right? And I'm speaking for him here, but knowing Connor, I'm sure he had full belief in himself. I can do this, right? And that's a mentality that I've been working to build as well in my own life, whatever it is that I'm pursuing. Comes to the point where, if I'm looking at building a business, right, which is something I'm kind of really interested in right now. I'm putting some time into building business and making money as a college student. There's a very, 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 very low chance I succeed in that. It's like 1% or 3% of whatever of entrepreneurs ever see a single dime. Who says that I could do that, right? Well, I'm not special. I'm not different. I'm not anything, marvelous and fantastic. I'm a regular dude, But there's a delusional self-confidence there, and there's a love for this uncertainty. I'm not a very risk-taking person, but the more and more I do this, the riskier I get, the more uncertain I almost dive into things. Like the more I dive into the uncertainty, because it's the self-confidence, it's the unwavering belief that in your own abilities, in your own mind, especially your own mind, right? Because mindset is such a huge thing. That's a whole nother video I want to make on creating, the right mindset. But there's nobody out there who would look at this and say, yeah, you can do it. No logical person, when they look at the numbers, say, yeah, there's a really small chance. Good luck. I mean, it's stupid. Stupid to even think about. Stupid to even think about from my part that I would fail, right? Stupid for Connor to even think about that he would fail, because where does that lead him? That leads him into thinking about failing, and then he fails. It doesn't even cross your consciousness. I think about the clip we've all seen probably on TikTok or Instagram or whatever of what's his name, Timothy Chalamet. He's like, that doesn't even enter my consciousness. As stupid as that sounds, it's real. It's real. And so many people get too stuck into thinking the outcome if they fail. I'm going to lose all this money. I'm going to lose all this time. I'm going to lose all this energy. I mean, you're not going to lose shit. Yeah, you may fail. You may not succeed in this one thing, but look at everything it taught you, right? Look at everything it taught you. And if you never quit and you're not an idiot, like you actually learn from your mistakes, how can you fail? It's stupid to even think about. How can you fail, right? Pressure makes diamonds. The more pressure you put on yourself, the more time you spend working towards something, the higher that chance goes up. And you actually make the uncertain certain, right? That's what happens as you go up. So you need to learn to love the uncertainty, because the hardest part is the very beginning. The hardest part is the very beginning, when everything is like, I don't know if I can do this. You gotta love that. You gotta love it's a challenge. It's like challenging yourself. You gotta love the challenge. Can I do this? And then you gotta believe in yourself so much that you just go out and do it. You just get that shit done. It's so obvious, and yet it's really hard. I'm not coming here to say this is easy, right? I'm still working on this. Like, this is not an easy thing to do. But you got to become addicted to putting yourself in situations where you get to like utilize everything you have, and you get to put yourself to the test. It's like gladiators. The gladiators would go out and fight, and they'd fight just and I'm glad, whatever. Ignore the fact that the gladiators were like slaves and they had to fight to the death, whatever. Gladiators go out there and they're putting themselves all on the line. They're like going out there and literally fighting for their lives in an arena against someone else who's doing the exact same thing. That is you in every single day of your life. That is you in every single dream you have, every single aspiration you have. You are out there fighting for your life. And it's uncertain of if that gladiator will come out of the arena alive and live to fight another day, live to see another day. It is uncertain. But I'm sure if you were in that ring, right? If you were in that arena, you would fight like hell, because you wouldn't sit here and say, I'm just going to let myself die. When your life is on the line, why would you let yourself die? Even though it's uncertain, I could lose. So what does that mean? Are you gonna make that loss 100% chance? You make that loss certain instead of embracing the uncertainty and just putting your all out there? No, that's retarded. That's stupid. Same thing with life. You have dreams, you have goals, you have aspirations, you have things you want to reach, places you want to be, places you want to reach, things you want to become, like the person you want to become. Are you going to sit there and say, "Oh, it's uncertain, so I'm just going to make it certain that I never get there"? Listen to yourself. Listen how stupid that sounds. Something I had to tell myself for so long. Like, fight to the death. Fight like you mean it. Fight like your life is on the line, because it really is. Can you call life living if you're not working towards your dreams, and if you never achieve them? Are you ever going to be happy with yourself? Especially if you built a vision in your mind of what you want your life to be like. Are you ever going to be happy with yourself if you don't go out there and at least try to achieve it? Put your ass out there and work hard for it? Because I assure you, at the end of life, you'll never be sad that you put your effort in. You'll never be sad that you embraced that uncertainty and went out and tried to make it happen. But you sure as hell will be pissed off at yourself at the end of your life if you never put that effort in to reaching that point. Because not only did you not reach it, you never even tried. Seriously, think to yourself about how stupid that sounds. Use negative motivation almost. I forgot the perfect word for this, but look at what life would be like if you didn't do this and realize, wait a minute, that would be stupid. That would be idiotic. And I would hate my life if I didn't put that level of effort in, if I didn't work towards something. That's all I've got to say. Embrace the uncertainty. Good luck.